Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. So simple. It's been a while, but here we are. And what we're going to do today is we're going to make some baby clothes. I will be making a two-color little dress for a baby. The baby that I'll be making the dress for, she's 9 months old. So depending on how big the baby is, that's how much fabric you need. Okay, so just so that you get an idea, because I don't want to add buttons or zippers or anything to this project, I want to make it as easy as possible. The part that's going to be the top part of the little dress has to be stretch fabric. You want to be able to get the piece on the baby without having to add zippers or buttons. So this is a four-way stretch fabric. The other part doesn't matter. The part that's going to be on the skirt, because it's going to be a white type of skirt, so that shouldn't be a problem. So, okay, now what you need to do is you're going to take, first of all, my stretchy fabric, I folded it in half and I folded it in half again. And then I put these little pins on it because the fabric is very slippery and I want to keep it in place. Next, you're going to take your little onesie, and depending on how short or long you want the top part of the dress to be, this color, that's where you're going to fold it. So basically, I want mine to be right about here. So I'm going to just fold that way. And then I'm going to fold it in half like this. You're going to line that up with the edge of your folded fabric. I mean, for babies, it really doesn't take a lot of fabric to do these projects. I just buy extra, you know, because there's a bunch of little things that you could do with this stuff for the babies. Okay, so you took your onesie, you folded to where you want that color to be, that stretchy fabric to be, and then you laid it on the edge and you traced. That's what I did. I don't know if you could see it, but I traced around just so you could get an idea. And this is what it should look like. What you're going to do now is you're going to cut where you have traced. You're going to cut that piece out. Do not cut the fold. You're only cutting where you traced. Okay, so I have cut out my top piece. And now the bottom piece, what you're gonna do, you could either do two things. You could measure the baby's length and width, or you could take like this, the way I have it, and put the onesie on the bottom. And then your second fabric has to be able to go around the baby 2 times. This is the needle that I use for the stretchy fabric. It's a stretch needle. And then I'm going to set my machine to one of these stretch stitches. I will probably use number 3. All of these are stretch, but I'm going to use stitch number 3 to sew the stretchy part of the dress. Here's another pointer as well. To avoid your fabric being sucked into your machine, which causes a jam, when you have very thin fabric, it is a good idea to take a piece of paper and put it underneath the fabric where you're going to be sewing. You put it underneath the fabric like that, and then you start sewing there. The paper will be sewn onto the fabric, and then you just rip the paper off. When you're doing really thin fabric, this will save your fabric and it will keep it from jamming inside here. So do that, and it's no problem. Once you finish, you just rip the piece of paper off. And there you have it. Real simple. Just clean off the little pieces of paper, and it's no big deal. The thread won't come out, and the machine will not be sucking in your fabric. The next step is you're going to take the long fabric that you cut that went around the baby twice, and you're going to sew this section just straight up, a regular stitch. This is, well, this is not a stretchy fabric, so I'll be using a regular stitch for that. Okay, so now we're going to do the little ruffles on the edges, on the long side of the dress. And for this, if you have this pressure foot for the ruffles, that's perfect. But if you don't, I am going to do it the way without this. It's the same, you get the same effect, just for those of you who do not own one of these. Okay, the first thing I did was I set my machine at 0. You could do it with 0 or with 1. I set my machine at 0. And then over here, I'm going to put it, I'm going to make the stitch as big as possible. I don't know if you can see that. Because I want the stitching to be really big, because it's stitch that's not going to be permanent, that I'll be removing. So that's what it should look like for this part of the project. I set the fabric up in the machine. I left plenty of thread in the back, right here, plenty of thread. I pulled plenty of thread out, and do not back stitch, because these stitches that you'll be doing now are not permanent. So do that all around this piece of the fabric until you get to the other end. When you get to the other end, also leave plenty of thread, because you'll be pulling that thread, but do not back stitch. Now you take the string that you left and you're gonna just pull on it. You pull on it nice and slow, and you'll start seeing the little fringes. You do it all the way until you do the whole side of the skirt. Just take your time so that you don't rip the thread before you're done, and you'll get these little ruffles. So this is what it looks like so far. What you're going to do now is you're going to turn both pieces with the wrong side out. Not the right side, with the wrong side out, both pieces. I took my side where I sewed before, and I'm going to put that one on the side. You could put it on the back. I'm going to put mine on the side. And then what you're going to do is you're going to combine these pieces, and you're going to pin them. Try to align the edges. So I'm going to start, you could start with 4 corners. So you're going to do this. Take this piece and this piece like this, and you're going to pin it together. Do that to the 4 corners. Line up your hems, your edges, and then you're going to pin all around, and I'll show you what it looks like once I finish pinning. So this is what it looks like. It's already coming together. What you're going to do now is you're going to take the pieces that you've pinned. Try to use a lot of pins so that you get this right, because this is the hardest part of this project, pretty much, is attaching the skirt to the top. So you're going to take this like this. You're going to go to your machine, and you're going to sew all around. Make sure that you don't take more part of the fabric than you really need to. Sew all around. Try to sew right underneath where the little edges here, right here, so that when you remove the string, you still have the little frills. So go ahead and do that. For this part, I will still use a stretch stitch, only because the top part of the dress is stretch, and go all around. I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. And this is what we have so far. I bought a little packet of these little flowers, and I'm going to hand sew these on. All we need to do now is hem the sleeve, the armholes, the neck, and the bottom, and you are done. If you want to add sleeves, you could add sleeves. Whatever you want to add, you could add pockets to the front, but this is how I'm going to keep mine. And that's it. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free. Please like, please subscribe, and when I do see Miss London and she has her little dress on, I will take a picture and put it up so that you guys could see what the little dress looks like. But it was